So we are moving on to part two of our crit of interesting backgrounds and interesting light. And we're going to look at Sydney's work next. So we've got these images right here. And one thing right off the bat, everything seems to be kind of centered. All the images are centered. So break it up. Think about rule of thirds. Think about different ways of framing things. On this little person, I'd like to see you back up so we can see more of the location, because that is where the interesting light is. But she does have really good light on her. But it's not quite telling a story yet. So we're looking to tell stories with our travel photography and with the interesting light. This one, same thing. I want to see his feet. I want to see more of where he is. We don't know where he is. So show us. You're catching a nice moment here with the little girl playing in the water, the light rippling. That's really where the photo is. So this might be better cropped square, or back up and show us that In-N-Out Burger is right there. There's this incredible fountain there, and it really will show a sense of place. So you can grab some In-N-Out and play in the fountain. So think about telling stories. Stories, stories, stories. I'd love to see this cup gone. And the shot is really right in here. So if you have a zoom lens, zoom in. Are you adding this bokeh as an after in processing, or are you shooting it like that? I'm just curious. I think it's working. And this one, great moment, great posture on the kid. The only thing that's bothering me here is the man behind him, probably his dad. So I would either like get down a little bit so that we lose the skin. You can see the skin on his head that's kind of framing it. So it kind of has more of a just a darkness up there, or you could darken it down a little bit. But a little play with a little bit of your angle, your position to make that be a little less distracting behind there. But you caught a great moment. The light on him is just really gentle and pretty. So keep exploring. Number one thing for you, just step back and break up the centering. Don't center everything. And take a note. Almost all of these, you're about the same distance away from your subject. They fill the frame in about the same way. So closer, further away, mix it up. Okay, on to Angie. So this one is a mural. And a lot of times we're going to photograph murals when we're on vacation. And I think it's always really important to show that it is not your artwork, and that's happening. Telling a little bit more of a story because of the tree coming in, and you did talk about the tree, and you talked in your caption about not knowing the artist, and that's okay. So you're acknowledging that someone else made this piece and that you were just enjoyed it. I would step back here as well. I want to see those little shrubs at the bottom of the frame. These are beautiful light, telling a nice little story of the chicken coop. I think this is my favorite image because it does have the chicken running towards the little one. But I saw on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere where you had a collage of the four images together, and I thought that told a better story than these as single individual images. So I would love to see that. So don't be afraid to play with collages. A lot of times with Instagram and Photoshop, it's perfectly acceptable. So you can even turn those in. Beautiful light going on here. Nice glow on the hair. You're kind of mixing things up a little bit with your framing, which is good. And I would just keep going. You're looking at some nice stuff. Okay, this is Chris. Chris Dickey. He travels all over, and this is an incredible shot. It's a tiny little image, and I know I said send tiny ones at the beginning, but as you know, I changed my mind because I want to do these critiques so we can actually see and learn from them. I love that the background is in focus, the crosswalk is in focus, and then the movement of the people. It just really shows the energy of the city. So that's telling a story. That is a great story to tell, and it's fantastic. Same spot, but this time the people are gone, and we've got the movement of the car lights. Pretty incredible. So think about how you can tell different stories within the same place, and Chris is doing that right here. And then another car light trails image. So nice illumination, nice light, nice experimentation, great backgrounds. So you got the light and the background happening in these. Send me some bigger ones next time, Chris. Okay, so this one I know was shot with an iPhone. And I initially went and looked and thought, oh, I wish why is it shot at whatever the numbers were, and then that was why. So I'm guessing that maybe you don't have Photoshop. So if you don't have Photoshop, you can get a free program called Snapseed, and the only reason I'm encouraging you to do that is because it has a healing feature where you can take out these little streams from other balloons that are leaving the side of the frame. I think those ones are distracting. I don't think this is distracting. I think you need this one for balance, and these are fine over here. But this one, because of the ray of light coming in, I just find that a little distracting. So great way to remove those. And I'm going to show a demo or two with Snapseed. I'll be doing some recordings with that. I'm trying to figure out what everyone is processing with. Okay, this is still Siera. So we moved from Chris over to Siera. Interesting light, interesting background, interesting shot, great moment with the girl. Really nice tone across the whole. I'd like to see the bottom of the arm a little bit more in the frame. So that's just moving the camera down a little bit or moving yourself back maybe even only 6 inches. So think about where you're cropping things on the corner, on the edges. If you moved it down a little bit, we'd get more of this sweeping motion of the background as well. And I think that's important. But really nice photograph. Once again, a nice photograph. Great background, interesting to look at. Yeah, well done. This one, great backdrop. I would like to see this part either gone or more included. You've got all this nice little work in here. So I'd probably just step back a little bit, maybe include her entirely sitting on the steps, or maybe even move in a little bit closer and get rid of that out of the side. I think it's fine having these over here. It adds to it. Really interesting. So keep going. You've got a good eye happening here. And the tonality in these are looking good. So next up, we're looking at John Zeeble. And he was out at the wetlands. Great place. A lot of visitors come to town and want to go out there. I love how you've got the layering of your space here. The foreground of the dirt, then the water plants, whatever they are, and then the building in the background. So I love that layering, showing from nature to man. So very nicely done here. This image, it's not quite telling the story that the other one is for me. So this one, I'm a lot less interested in as a travel story. It's more of a snap to me. This one is how it came to me. And I thought, wow, we could do a little bit with this. And I kind of processed it out to get something more like this. So I'm going to actually show you in another video how I processed this. But it's about the light, the sky, what's happening. Once again, I like a lot of the same things here that were in that first image, where we've got the layering of the space, and I love those houses in the background. Over on the left, we have the mountains. So that's really descriptive of Vegas. It's off the strip because we are the Las Vegas Valley. So, so I'd like to see it a little poppier and more like this. And I'm going to take you through how to do that using Photoshop, iPhoto, and Snapseed. So I'm going to combine all. I'm not going to combine all three. I'm going to show you a quick little demo and show you how they all look different and how they work. So look for that in a second. Well, when we're done with this video. So let's start playing with processing to make the images look better. Okay, because good foundation. Now let's take it to the next level. Okay, this one I'm a little less interested in. That fence seems like a barrier to me. I know that you're looking at the light up in the sky, but I think it could be framed a little differently. So look for a different place here to photograph. We're going to look at Leinani's images on her album in our Las Vegas Document 2018 travel documentary. So this is what her album looks like. Let's click on an image, and you can see when they open up, they are not square. So she's in Vegas down at the park. What is it? I think it's just called the park. And this waterfall sculpture, water that douses him to cool himself off. Okay, so let's look here. I'm just using the arrow keys to click through. Nice moment of her trying to splash him. Feeling a little awkward with the guy in the background there. So I would love the moment, but it's not quite right because of that. Nice quiet, contemplative moment here. So I think this one's working nicely. Everything is level. Take a note of that. That's a good thing. You talked about liking the all the people connected through the shadows. And I think that's a great observation. I don't think it's as dynamic a photo as this one. This is the standout of the group. But let me go back one. I thought that was the next one. I love the little girl looking out at you, or the little kid, whatever, girl, boy. So you're capturing a nice moment there. Um, I'm not sure what dad is doing, taking a picture of his hand. I'm not quite sure. But the moment really is the little kid. So that's a great time to have a zoom lens and, get down and, zoom in to that moment. Because I'm curious as to what they're doing in the background, and they're the bigger story than the little one, but the little one is truly where the story is here. But this is the keeper of the whole group. This one tells the whole story. It's got great energy. You really get a sense that this is water falling from the angle that you shot it at. It's got great angles, super texture, really nice. I'm all for doing a little cleanup, so I'd clean up these little white spots through here. It doesn't hurt to do that. And I think it would make for a nicer, cleaner image because my eye keeps hopping to those. So this one, keeper, the story's the little kid. This one I'm not as interested in as you are. I like what you're looking at, but I just don't think it's quite the story. This one I think is fantastic. So keep going. I think you picked a great location to show, and it's definitely a spot people visit. Good work. And then our very last image is by John, another John, different John, John Woodbury. John only sent me one image. Darn, John, you owe me two more. But this is a great sky. This is great light. I love the angle of the Spring Mountain Ranch shooting across there. This one has a border on it. Borders are tricky if you're doing travel photography. For personal use, borders all the way. I love borders. But if you're going to share this with an editor, a magazine, a blog, chances are they might want to crop your image. And then they'll become problematic to have a border. So just know where your image is and save it out without the border and with the border. So give yourself options. It's such a bummer when you have to go back and rework everything because you didn't take the time to save before it and then save after. So you can have more than one version of your photographs. That's the point here. So this is a nice way to end up with our images here. So I think you guys did a good job on the first go round. The next video I'm going to post is about processing. And like I said, I'm going to do Photoshop, Snapseed, and iPhoto. So check it out. Snappy, snappy. Let me know if you guys have any questions.